Hi guys, welcome back to another timeless reading. I'm pulling this on Friday, January, oh my gosh, the 17th, 2025. So I'm pulling from the Game of Thrones tarot cards. I feel like I've said this before, I've seen this before, I've had this feeling before I even knew the information. But they were like, I felt like there was more than 12 months. I felt like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like there was more. You know what I mean? So there's supposed to be another zodiac sign and all this stuff. But I feel like the Lunar New Year is actually the celebration of the year starting. I feel like we kind of get used to back to the cycle of like kids are back in school, and depending where you are, because Australia, the kids are out for summer break. So it's just like getting back to whatever routine that is at that time, whatever makes sense to you. But I was like, I had this pull, and I had this before Christmas too. It's like I always do this, around November and stuff like that. But it's just like we were a little bit busy with stuff, so it's like, and it's not so much because it was dirty, but it's just like so much as that it makes me feel better when I open up the fridge, I open up the stove, I open up the microwave. Maybe you have like a routine that you do where you maybe like I'm sure a lot of you watch the Jersey Shore, and you'd see them and the guys would clean up the whole fridge, and they're like, my mom would empty out the whole fridge, clean it, and then go grocery shopping, right? But some of us don't have time to do all that, right? But it makes sense, like a fresh, like a reset, you know what I mean? So I was just like, pulled to do that. So today I worked a split shift, and then I felt energy today. If you watched my videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel so tired. I'm gonna post something that came up on my For You page, and it really resonated. And it's like, be grateful for the days we're full of energy, like today. And then it's like, be kind to yourself on those days that you don't. But you know what I mean? Because it's just like sometimes people will say things, and it's me, it's not the person. It's just like, maybe to them they see it a certain way, but it's just like when I feel really heavy and I just feel like, I'm just dragging through the day. I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's just, a lot of changes happened, like emotionally, and I did a meditation, thankfully, the Friday before when this was going on. It's like I could sit there and watch Netflix. I can sit there and, you know what I mean, after Shabbat, and I was like, I'm just gonna, the TV's already on, it's already on YouTube, just do a meditation, you know what I mean? Because I was purging a lot. I was going through a lot of emotionally, So Spirit is like, you need to buy a gross of bulbs. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, all right, but, I knew I had bulbs in the basement. And I'm just like, I always keep bulbs on hand. And where we live, they also have some bulbs there too. So I just use mine. And I left those for, when we move on and, the next person will need them. So we change, literally, I go in my son's room, I go to turn on the light, and the bulb's gone. I'm just like, what? I'm like, that's so crazy. And I just started chuckling to myself, and he's like, what's going on? And I said, literally, Spirit told me to buy a gross of bulbs. He's like, what's a gross? I mean, like a bunch of bulbs. And he's like, oh. And I just changed the bulb in the living room, and I don't know what the heck's going on there. I don't know if it's because, I don't know if someone knocked the lamp or something, but it's literally not working. So I gotta change that one again. And the one in the foyer, I guess a lot of, where we live is people that have been here for years and years, a couple of decades. So they use more of the tan, I think it's called a warm bulb. I can't stand them. I just feel, I don't know. I don't like the yellow hue it gives off. I know a lot of people are fans of it, but me, I'm just like, no thank you. But the reason why I bring up the cleaning and stuff is just like, if you feel this pull to do things, you know what I mean? Like I sat there and I was like, I'll try and get, this stuff done tonight. Cause I was like, I feel, I got the energy for it. And I'll just sit there and scroll on TikTok anyway in my bed until probably 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning. Cause it's my Friday. So I was just like, you know what? Let's try to get one of them done. I'm like, even if I just get the door of the fridge done tonight, you know what I mean? I'll sit there and I'll, but as soon as I started, I kept going. So my back started hurting. So I was just like, all right, I'll finish the last shelf, and then I'll pull out the drawers tomorrow and clean those all good too. So, you know what I mean? You may feel like that pull, I always feel it November, December, right around November, December, January. to like clean the fridge, the stove, the microwave, unless if it absolutely needs it. Like I always clean the top and everything, but like it doesn't need to be cleaned. The microwave needs to be cleaned, but like the stove, I just did that cleaning of gosh before the inspection. So it's just like I always feel like twice a year just to, you know what I mean? Just make it, I don't know, for my brain to make sense. It's just like I feel better now that like at least the fridge is done. So if you feel that pull, I feel like it's like starting the new year fresh, or you know what I mean? Like a lot of us right now, because where we live, you know, we're in the cooler months. So it's like you could get more work done because you're not sweating like buckets, you know? So it's like going through things, you know what I mean? Like we moved and it was like we moved so quickly, so we didn't go through everything. You know, like I did definitely feel a purge in the summer, but the kids were just like, you know, we're on break. We don't want to do that. I was like, okay. So I purged whatever I could. I didn't realize what was going to happen, you know, but literally, like I had mentioned before, I was going back on my channel messages and there it was in plain penmanship, you know, you're going to be moving in this time. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I should probably review those a little bit more. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? And it happened. It was just so quick. It was just like, you know, back and forth, the interview and all this stuff. And then, you know, they need all this stuff. They're like, oh, you have until you move in. I was like, okay. You know, and then we started moving stuff in and, you know, it was chaotic. We moved during retrograde. Ugh. Do not recommend it. But nonetheless, we've been here for a year. So I'm just like, you know, I know a lot of people, I want to look up the meaning of like bulbs going out because we've had like instances with flashing bulbs. When Shane passed away, all the bulbs went out in our house. I'm not even kidding. The laundry room light was flickering like crazy. And then when we moved into New Brunswick, the place we stayed for almost 6 years, no one was touching the light switch. The bulb was just going crazy, you know? So that's why I just want to look at that. And Universal's just like, make sure you buy yourself a gross of bulbs. Kind of like, you know, you're going to be on a ladder a lot changing bulbs. So I'm like, okay. You know, I just thought it was just like, you know, I feel like a lot of people feel that way. Like, especially when you like start taking your trees, like your Christmas stuff down, and some people are leaving their trees up. I saw mine up. I'm going to probably taking it down. Like, that's why I felt like, you know, try to get the tree down and reorganize in here. And it's like we moved, but it's just kind of like get everything out of the boxes. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we went from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. But it's just like, you know, we made the move that we were always supposed to make. You know what I mean? So it's just like now it's just kind of like, you know, we've got the tree up. We made room for the tree. It's like, okay, now we're going to move the tree back into its packaging and, you know, kind of set up things the way that we want. Finish setting up things that we, like I wanted to do, but it was just too hot in the summer and I was too exhausted afterwards and we had so many high holidays. So we have the 4 coins. These 3 came out all together. The 4 coins, the 9 of cups, and the 8 of coins. So, you know, 4 coins is like keeping everything close to our chest and the fear of losing it. But I feel like we're kind of like, with myself especially, because I was just like, you know, just keep saving this much and I feel comfortable, like, because it's like, I know that that's already there, but just keep doing that thing. You know what I mean? It's like trying to change my spending habits and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know, making myself feel a certain way because I know, like, you know, I could sit there and, you know, I could be like, okay, it's there. Like, you know, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? So it's just like, you know, if you feel like maybe there's just something that has been, you know, pulling at your, like, you know, you feel insecure or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here, I know as long as I do the right thing and I pay my rent, like, I'm fine. You know what I mean? Because I'm, like, we're our own reflection of who we are. You know what I mean? And I, for the longest time, when we were living at our other place up north, it's just like, I always felt like, you know, this kind of thing hanging over our head. Like, you know, it's just like, you know, it's not you know what I mean? Like, it was our home. It felt like home. We made it feel like our home, but it was always just like, you know, anytime like this, you know, this could be taken away. Like that's true with everything, but you know what I mean? At least here, I don't have that, you know, craziness. I definitely felt that, like, because they're just like any hole you make and this and that. I understand where they're coming from. You know what I mean? They don't want people tearing apart, you know, anyone, you know, and I've seen some, you know, doozies there. So, You know what I mean? It's just like you sit there and you're just like, well, I'm not like that. But it's just like, yeah, but it wasn't you. It's like the previous, like, person. It's like they did, like with here, there's, I'm finding things. I'm just like, ooh, that's my next project. I have so many things going on. It's just like, that's what I'm saying. If you feel pulled to do these kinds of things, it's like you feel better. Anyone would understand where I'm coming from, where you feel like something's like, I need to get that done, or, you know what I mean? Something I want to just check off my list, like I've got it done. I feel like it gives you mental clarity in that way. But it's like, I love the fact with the 4 coins. And you can also reflect on your life. High Priestess says we're talking about reflection here. It's like, you can always sit there and tell yourself, like, some way, somehow, like, I see, like, what poor Heidi and Spencer, Spidey, are going through, and I'm just like, I relate to it so much, and it pulls at my heart so much because I know how they feel. You know what I mean? It's like, same thing. It's like he's telling her, like, take what's important to you with you. Like, we can't take everything. Well, I'm just like sitting there playing with the cards as I'm talking, and all these wonderful cards are coming out. And 6 of coins and the 6 of swords. Moving forward. And wow, something's coming in out of the blue. I guess I'll play with the cards so I can concentrate on what I'm saying. But, I feel like it's just... No, I lost my train of thought. But I feel like, sometimes we feel that way. Like, we feel like... I'm just trying to put these cards in order so I remember when I get to them. I feel like, sometimes... I even talked to my girlfriend about this, and I'm like, the situations we've gone through where... like with us, we just like sat there, we purged as much as we could. You know what I mean? We donated as much as we could. We did trades for boxes. You know what I mean? It was called Buns. It was a Toronto trading site. Like, you only did trades, like there's no cash involved or anything like that. And it's just like, so like purging as much as we could and taking what we really wanted to take with us, and seeing what they're going through. I was like, girl, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? I still feel like they're in shock. They're in survival mode. And people are, saying words, and I get it, because I had the same thing happen to me. People who were saying words, and it's like, you know what? I don't wish this journey on anyone. You know what I mean? Like, they're mourning the loss of their home, their life. You know what I mean? Thank God they have each other. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I don't wish any journey where you don't know what the heck, you don't even know where to turn or what to think or what to feel, or never mind even think about the future. You know what I mean? It's just like, you can't even... you feel so fried because you can't make a straight thought, So I feel like, but I feel like that's where Spirit is giving that beautiful reminder. So you may be seeing like 444, 333 is what I'm seeing. It's 333 is more prominent. And I feel like it's just saying, like, in your life, anytime that you felt a certain way or you thought something was going to happen, Yahweh and Yeshua, just for myself, I can only speak for that, whatever way that resonates for you. Maybe that's your parents or your higher self, or Gaia, Mother Earth, whomever you believe in. It's just like that, they've shown up right in time. There's this one hymn that we listen to literally, like, in a couple hours. We do hymns on Friday and Mass and then Shabbat, and it's before you even asked him, help was on the way. It talks about the story of Elijah. It's just like this woman was sitting there and she's like weeping, and she's like, I don't even have enough food for me and my son to eat, never mind the family, and Elijah comes and he's like, can you please go in the kitchen and make me some, some bread and some cakes or whatnot. And she's like, I tell you, I don't have enough. And he goes, I tell you, you'll have enough, and then more than you could even think of. You know what I mean? And she goes in the kitchen, and sure enough, she did. She had enough to feed him, her family, for days and days and days and days. And I've been in that situation. I'm just like, I don't know how, like, even moving here, I'm like, I'm working, I'm packing, I'm homeschooling, I'm doing cards. Like, I was doing, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it was a lot. And I'm just, like, grateful to God. I'm just like, I know that was all you. Like, I was just in robot mode, But at least it wasn't in a kind of flight way. Like, you know what I mean? I just, I knew for a while I outgrew that situation, and I just, looked up to God when, heathens were coming out again, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, kind of threatening our peace. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I trust that you will take care of everything. you know, and it's just like, sure enough, it was right around my aunt's passing. It's just like right away, you know? So it's just like, you never know what's around the corner. Even though we think something is looking a certain way, you can always see in your life, somehow, some way, is it directly yourself, your loved ones around you that will help your benefits your situation. So that's where I feel like with the Four of Coins, it's just like, you know, sometimes we feel uneasy. Sometimes people try to disturb our peace, but it's like, you know, one thing like I've learned, I think it was like coming into this year. I don't believe it was January. I believe it was like December. It was like, you know, God saw it too. You know, when people are abusing you, using you, talking ill of you, it's like, you don't have to do a single thing, because that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to let go and let God. So let go and let the universe. Karma, right? We don't celebrate when it happens, but it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing me. I'm just going to keep my peace. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's a certain situation where they keep poking, and I'm just like, ugh, like I've been here before. And I'm just like, nope, I'm not going to do nothing. It's just like, you know, your shadow side can react, and that's what they want. They want the reaction, you know? So you just keep doing what you're doing, be happy, and, you know, somehow, some way, you'll see something, the karma will come in, and you're just like, I knew that, you know, I knew God would take care of that for me. I didn't have to do a damn thing. So the Nine of Cups, you see, like, sitting in the city position. So, like, I had said that before, where Spirit was like, get knowledge. And I'm like, I'm not sure where that applies to. Like, I know there's certain videos that I watch, and there's certain, like, there was the guy, one person said it was Old Hebrew. Another person said it was Arabic. Doesn't matter to me. You know, like, it's just beautiful. But it was like Our Father. But it's just like, if you've ever been to a mosque, if you've ever been to a synagogue, it's like, when you read passages, it's a hymn. Like, it's so beautiful. And this one just speaks to my soul so much. I was just like, I listen to it before I go to work. I listen to it before I go to bed. It just stirs something. It just wakes something up in my soul. It's like, they talk about soul food, like, you know. And they were saying, get knowledge, you know. So maybe this is going to the Old Hebrew language. This is, you know, I keep seeing an ad to learn Hebrew. So I don't know. We'll see where it takes me, you know. Let's add something more to my pile, you know. So I feel like the Nine of Cups, like, get knowledge, but I also feel like it's like, be patient as things unfold. Like, I definitely feel like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I'm what you call middle-aged. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, you feel this feeling like, you know, okay, I should have all this in life. But it's just like, you know, like they say, it's just, my path has not been like anyone else's. You know what I mean? Like, thank God I have people that have, I don't wish that, I don't know how to articulate that, but I'm not grateful that they had gone through the same situation, but I'm grateful to have them in my life. You know, Ed Quinn and Nancy Quinn, like, you know, they opened up this more grieving group, and they were like, love after loss, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is that even possible? And it's like, you know, they even tell you, like, find someone that's been divorced, or if you can, you know, or like in their situation, they both, you know, widower, and they were lucky enough to find each other. So they understand, you know, we didn't choose this life, it chose us. You know, it's not easy, but, you know, we'll find our way forward together. At least, you know what I mean? Because it's understanding, you know, to go through a situation that nobody can understand or describe or fathom unless you've gone through it through yourself. So a lot of people like to jibber jabber, and it's like, you know, you have no idea what you're talking about. You could talk about it because you think you know what you're talking about, you know. I would be quiet before, you know, you speak too much into the universe and it happens to you. You know, I would never, ever in a billion years wish this on anyone. So the Eight of Coins, concentrating on our work life, but I just feel like out on display, more in the spotlight. So you might see things like your social medias. So they were just announcing that they're not banning TikTok that in the U.S., you know. But I honestly, like, I watch so many people, like U.S. content creators, like Kristen Howard, Katie Van Sky. She has the Running Springs Farm. So, you know what I mean? It's Lovely Mimi. Like, there's so many people that I watch that put a smile on my face. There's this one creator that I just started following. I think she's Samoan. No, she is Samoan. And she does, like voiceovers, but her face and, like, the dances and stuff her and her partner do together, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just, like, things that break up your day, you know? Especially in my line of work where sometimes, like, you know, You get cursed off a million times in a day sometimes, and then sometimes you come across the gems that just make your day. Every day is a mixed bag. So, it's just nice, to sit there and have someone that you can sit there and watch and put a smile on your face, or watch someone go through the situation you are and just be like, you know what, I know what you're going through. I'm praying for you. I will support you in any way that I can possible. And, God bless. I'm praying for you guys to make a full recovery and, replace 10 times. Like, I know for them, it's not material things, but it's just the fact that they can put a roof over their head. It's not even just their head. His parents lost his house too. So it's just like, he's watching his wife suffer, and he's watching his parents suffer. Like, he's like, a lot of people write him off, Spencer, they don't understand where he's coming from because he's into crystals and all that, and positive energy and everything. But it's just like, he has a heart of gold. He is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And he's just, people are just trying to bring him down still. I love the Hermit because it's like channel messages, channel numbers. You know what I mean? Like, like they were saying, like, get knowledge. So it's just like, I feel like that's where the crow's coming in. It's a minor message, but like a delivery of something, so I feel like this could be in your dreams. Like, pay attention to your dreams. Ed started a dream group, and I was just like, I'm going to tell Ed about this, and I was like, I completely forgot it. Oh my word. I was just like, okay, I gotta start writing this down so I can share it with Ed in the group. But I feel like in that way, like a delivery of messages. So maybe this is you writing down channel messages, those that can see, let them see. Those that can hear, let them hear, So it's just like not abusing it, being thankful that we have that ability, but, sitting there writing down the channel messages. Like I said, like they had told me, that this certain situation was going to happen. It happened, and I was just like, oh my gosh. So I wanted to go back through my channel messages, and that's where I read in 2023. They're like, you're moving on this time. And I'm like, okay. And I completely forgot about it. Because last year was just, oh my gosh, was just crazy. Like the end of 2023 leading into 2024 was just like, you know what I mean? Like August all the way till like, August, like literally a year, finding out my aunt had stage 4 cancer, and, her passing. And then after her passing, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, she's like, she didn't know, she apologized. I'm like, you have nothing to apologize for. Like, you didn't do anything. Like, the blame goes on the proper people. Like, you have nothing to do with it. Like, you only take what people tell you at face value because that's what you're told. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't feel like she has to apologize for anything. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Only the people that have done wrong, or the people that have spread lies, have to, live with that. Not me. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know what I'm capable of, and that's all that matters. Yahweh and Yeshua, that's all that matters. My kids, Yahweh, Yeshua, Shane and Dad, you say what you want about me, but, I am who I am. Don't like it? That's fine. You're not going to be the first or the last. The magician, you have the capability of doing what is coming forward. They have the hangman changing the perspective. So I love the fact with that. They have with the, the 9 of Cups is like, in a library gaining knowledge, messages coming in, and like with the hangman, like changing your perspective. And I feel like this is where the magician, it's like waking something in you. So maybe this is where you actually start seeing. This is where you actually start hearing. You know what I mean? And I mean in the fact where, like, I know someone that's close to me that wants to have dreams with their past loved one, wants to, you know what I mean? Like, where I see in my mind's eye, I see her brother, we chit-chat and stuff like that. Her mom and me don't really, have a rapport. Me and her brother more connect. You know what I mean? So it's just like, anytime she's like, what is my mom saying? I'm like, your mom's quiet. You're like, your mom and me don't, I feel like her mom is like kind of saving herself for when she can, see and hear. So maybe this is about her, where she's going to actually start hearing and seeing. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's something, a gift that you never thought you wanted. You know what I mean? I always pushed it far away. Like, I remember I was thinking about, I was dating someone and I saw flowers, and before we got to where they were, and I saw them and I didn't want to say anything because, like, I'm not going to just rush up and, oh, they're mine. But they were for me, and I was just like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's been times in my life, you know what I mean, where things that I've, getting channeled images, And it's just like, wow, you know? So it's like always been a part of you. But I feel like that's what they're saying. Something that's coming in will be, you already have, you see that a lot in your For You pages. What you are seeking is already a part of you. You know, there's a reason why you're seeking it, because it's like your body's used to it or your soul's used to it, right? So this is you getting, you know, your own tarot deck. They're saying calling to get, they said this before. I will always share this. I will not gatekeep it. Astrology Answers. You can go to the search engine, Astrology Answers, Tarot Deck Meanings. They have it in the positive, they have it in the negative. When I started, I had my laptop beside me. I was live, and I would sit there and go through the definitions. And it's just like, you know, let the cards tell the story. You know, go with the flow. Just no expectations. See what happens. Like, I was literally talking to you guys, and I kept pulling cards. So I feel like it's like change your perspective of things. Change your perspective of yourself. Change your perspective of, they're saying feelings. So maybe the feelings you have for someone. I don't know. It could, you know, maybe we're talking about, there's been a lot of love talk. But I know when I was sitting there, I don't think it was Astrology Answers. But they had the Lovers in reverse, the Emperor in reverse, and I can't remember what the other card was. But I was just like, I felt like for the longest time they were saying like March timeline for someone new to come in here. And I feel like there's something there that has changed that no longer is happening. Because maybe sometimes we're supposed to go to an event and you were supposed to meet. Or maybe they had a change of heart, or maybe you had a change of heart. You know what I mean? Sometimes we'll settle for things that we shouldn't settle for, and, you know, it's like, well, you chose to go through that path. So, you know, I feel like if it's meant to come in your life, it will. You know what I mean? Like, the universe knows what you need, when you need it, and how it's going to come about. Even though we don't understand it. We work so hard, we try to force things, you know what I mean? Your universe is like, how's that going for you? You're tired, you're exhausted? Just let it flow. You know? Again, 4 coins. So High Priestess, again with the Hermit. High Priestess is like, you know, gaining knowledge, bringing in knowledge. Fire energy, I love with that, you know. So maybe this is where it's like a call to burn candles. If you're able to have a bonfire. It looks like someone's casting things into this fire. So it looks like maybe you have like a journal, or maybe you just like, you know, you were writing your feelings all out on paper just to get it off your chest, and you throw it into the flames so no one has to know what you're dealing with. We have the 6 of coins. So it feels like coming from, I don't feel so much like 5 of coins, like impoverished. I feel like you work hard, like, you know what I mean? Going with the 8 of coins, it's like, you know what I mean? That's where I feel like, again, like, you really don't have to worry about that, because it's like, they know. You know what I mean? Even when you're tired, like, I don't know how many times I'll sit there and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But I told this person I would read for them, and I'm like, no worries, I got you. You know what I mean? And then it's like, it's a long week. You know what I mean? Because it does take a lot out of you physically, especially, you know what I mean? It's not the person's fault how long I read for them. I just read for them until spirit's done. You know, some people it's an hour and a half. Some people it's 3 hours. Like, I read for that person I haven't read for in almost a year. And it's like, I could have kept going. And I'm just like, I'm like, it's repeating cards. I'm tired. Like, I was like, okay, let me go take, you know, bathroom break and I'll come back. And I'm like, I could just feel it. It's just like you get out of the zone and you're just like, whoa, like, you know? So I feel like it's like, you know, I feel like I know that's what Spencer and Heidi do, because I know that they're people of faith. I feel like it's like, you know, you have coins coming in, you have financial blessings coming in, and it's just like you're not going to sit there and just waste this opportunity. 6 of Swords, this could be moving away from old emotions, old feelings. You know what I mean? Maybe this is kind of like where I was talking about myself, like, you know, where I felt like this certain way kind of just like dawned on me. It was like, you know, I did feel that way for a bit when I moved here. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of pinched me. This is reality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's just changed for the better, you know, and I'm very thankful for that, you know. But I know, just looking up back on my path, I don't like looking all the way back because, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, made it harder on us. But it's just like, the fact that God, and I even said this to my mom, and I was just like, God has blessed me in so many ways where he knew what I could handle. Like, with my job now, I hear the name Shane, his birthday, my birthday, numbers that resonate with us in our relationship. You know what I mean? It's just like, it affected me when I first started. When someone tell me like, his birthday, or if they would tell me their name and it was, it was Shane. You know what I mean? It's just, it kind of like really, it's like a dagger, you know what I mean? It kind of hits you, but it's just like, as years have gone on, you know what I mean? It's just like, you kind of just learn to build around it, and you're just like, either I can let this take me out or I can keep moving forward. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where they're just like, with the Four of Coins, it's like, even though we don't feel sure-footed, as God says, like, you're sure-footed like a deer, even though, we feel wobbly like a newborn, you know what I mean? Like, we don't feel like we're on solid ground. It's like, God is our solid ground. I feel like that's what the Nine of Cups, they're just like, your future, like, I always overthink. Joyce Meyer is like, you're robbing yourself of your peace. You're robbing yourself of your joy of that day. Why are you thinking about the future? It hasn't happened yet. And even with us, I'm like, even though Spirit told me, it's just like, getting that channel message, and it's just like, you're moving at this time, and they were spot on. They were like, this time to this time. And that's exactly what happened. We interviewed for it. It was back and forth, back and forth. Then it was a yes. We came and got the keys. We started moving things in, and we were here by the second. You know what I mean? So it's just like, exactly like Spirit said, from here to here, And it's just like learning to trust them more. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'll write things down. I'm like, no way. You got to be joking. I'm like, there's no way, no how. Don't ever say that's a Spirit. They will prove you wrong. So the Eight of Spears, something coming out. So I love out of the blue. So I feel like, Six of Coins, I feel like financially stable enough to like give to charitable endeavors like we do. I feel like moving past, that kind of feeling of lack, like moving forward. I feel like in a lot of ways we're showing Spirit we want to move forward. You know what I mean? So like, we're growing, we're improving, we're manifesting, I did manifest love on my chart 1 year, and then I'm just like, I don't know, man. My life is so busy. I don't know if I can handle that. God knows what we can handle. But like the Eight of Spears, they usually call this Cupid's arrow. We're heading to Valentine's Day, right? So again with the crows, with the Hierophant. But things coming out of the blue. And I feel like this is where it's just like our manifestations. We don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know, that's where I feel like a vision board is beautiful, because in a lot of ways it's like your dreams or fantasies, like things that you see yourself doing. Like, I would love to have a property with animals, like nothing crazy, but you know what I mean? It's just like, I think I first need to go on someone's farm and volunteer and kind of see how my allergies can handle this before I fully go head over kilter. You know what I mean? And I ain't young no more either. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm going to have to see how I can handle that. And I don't even know if my kids will want to do any of that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to saddle them and like expect them. Like, I expect you to sit there and take care of these animals, right? And they're just like, no, that's your bag, Mom. That's not mine. I just want to read this definition of the priestess here. Yeah, wisdom, spiritual realms, feminine power. I definitely feel that fire, though. Maybe finding a new passion. So intuition, which is really great because we're getting a lot of intuition. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what they're saying with the Nine of Cups, channeled dreams. You know what I mean? I very much feel like a dream state with the Hermit card with this one. You know what I mean? Seeing birds of the air. Like, we've been clouded over for so long. We've been getting like snow almost every day, but nothing crazy. But it's just like it's clouded over enough that you can't see the stars. You can't see the moon, and it's like it was out. I think it wasn't out yesterday. It was out the day before, and then it's out right now. So I'm making my moon water again. But it's like, it's crazy how you, like, I've always been this way with the moon. I've just had this, I love going. We used to go to the beach at night, and or we would go during the day. We would sit there and have a fire and watch the moon come up and stuff. So it's just like pull where you're pulled to. your spiritual guides. I definitely feel like there's times, and they do tell us that when you're feeling tired, that's when you're most vulnerable and open to receiving messages, and that's like, I know I was, emotionally exhausted because of a whole situation that happened, and, just, it's like kind of grieving. Well, I was grieving it. It's just like, what was and now what isn't, you know what I mean? So, it's definitely, crazy. I definitely get that vibe, like when I was working at Tim Hortons, where like everybody that I cared about and really enjoyed working with were gone, and I'm just like, I was kind of sick of it, So I moved to a different store, and I felt the same way. I just felt like I was like, I'm done here, and then I regretted leaving. I was like, I shouldn't have left. Maybe I should have went back to the other store, or figured something out. Talked to my boss and see if there was any other opportunity. But I just like, I was just felt like I was over with it. You know what I mean? But who knows? If I never would have chose that, or maybe I never would have met Shane. So it's just like, you never know why you do things in life. But now it's different. I have kids. So it's telling you it's time for privacy and discretion. You need to maybe need to protect a secret. So maybe Spirit's going to tell you something, and you want to tell everybody, hey, da 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 da. Like, remember I was pulling from the astrology answers, and I sat there and I was like, hey, like, I sit there, I see this cruise boat, and I'm like, it looks like one of those Disney cruise commercials you would watch, and it has the cruise ship sailing into the sunset. I kid you not. I woke up, and my phone had some messages. We have a group chat for the family, and it's like literally like, hey, it's this one's birthday, they're inviting their crew, and they're extending the invitation to us if we want to come, and it's a cruise. I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. I was just like, that is, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, like, and she's like, wow, that's so crazy. I'm like, I know, like, literally they showed me this, and it happened, like, that morning. So keep your own counsel. So maybe this is where things are happening. Like, that's what I feel like, Spirit is like, they say, like, you can't bring certain people with you because things are changing and transitioning. Even though you care for people, it's just like sometimes it's just like you don't hear all the conversations. Like, we're only given like 25% of a window into someone's life. We really don't know them. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is why all of this had to come to pass, because this is what I feel like. I feel like everything is going to start taking off like June. Is it June 29th or the 25th? No, 25th. The planets will be in alignment. What do they call it? Planet something. But it's like, they're saying for Canada, they said Toronto is around 5 p.m. You should be able to see a lot of them visible. So it's right at sunset. And I believe it's a Saturday. So I believe the lunar new year is a Wednesday. I think it's the 29th. So I feel like that's where you're going to start seeing things really take off. I feel like, I've always said this, like, ever since I really delved into tarot, it's just like, I've always felt that. I've always been drawn to the Asian culture. We're Atlantic Islanders, so there's like some Asian-esque, but it's like our actual heritage isn't from the Atlantic Islanders, it's from other places. So this is where, going back to that Our Father, and they said, one person said this is Old Hebrew, one person said it's Arabic. They were fighting back and forth. I'm like, can we just appreciate how beautiful this is? One person even said, I don't even speak Arabic, and this just stirs my soul. I'm like, exactly. We don't need to fight over what language it is. Your inner life is important now, and you may need be drawn to study and seek a mentor. So maybe that's when they were telling me to get knowledge, This is where someone maybe reaches out and offers, or maybe there's someone that I come across. That's why I love TikTok, because of Joyce Meyer. I think I've seen her before on The View. I don't know if it's the same lady. I may be mistaken, but something about her. She, especially when she was talking about stop robbing yourself of your peace. It's just like, when we were in the desert and we're, sitting there and we're complaining. We always complain in life, right? This. And, they're just like, oh, if we would have stayed here, like I was just doing, if I would have stayed here, and then they're just like, if we would have stayed in Egypt, at least we would have been fed, at least we would have had water. And Moses is like, God, like, please help me, they're going to turn against me, they're going to stone me to death, and he God's like, don't worry, I got you, just hit, your staff on this rock, water's going to come gushing out. They had water. Ask and you shall receive, And then he's like, well, we need food, and it started raining, bread from the sky. And there's like, collect enough for breakfast, collect enough for dinner. Anything out of that will turn to crap, as Joyce Meyer would say, And she's like, that's where I think about, when I rob myself of my peace, when I start overthinking, when I think negative thoughts, I'm not appreciative. I try to every single morning. There's times I forget, and I feel like that's why my son really sits there and he's like, Mom, don't forget to thank God for, paying the bills. Don't forget to thank God for the groceries. Don't forget to thank God, for things that happen in our life. And I'm like, he's right, because we went from such a state, and I work really hard, and God knows how I've been working like this since, I can time immemorial, you know what I mean? And it's just like, God knows who I am. This is how he made me. I may have to work harder than others, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But if it's my peace and it's my children's peace, then I don't mind doing that. You know what I mean? But I feel like that's where it's just like, having a grateful heart, sitting there and, thank you for another blessed day, for keeping us united as a family, keeping us safe at night while we sleep. Just, the things that we overlook, that we can see, we can feel, we can touch, we can taste, we can walk. Like, we always overlook these things because we expect them. We expect when we go to sleep, good night, I love you. We expect in the morning to, be there in the next morning, Like, we witnessed that firsthand. Nobody eat my lasagna, Shane's famous words, And unfortunately, he passed away, So, it's just like, that's why I'm like, I know it's easy to get caught up in it. If you could catch yourself, it's going to take practice. It's not going to happen overnight. Nobody's perfect. Sometimes it's just like one poopy thing after another, but it's just like, I was saying on the For You page, just because we're having a bad day, or like they were saying, if you're, there's days you just feel like you're dragging yourself through the day, be kind to yourself. The days like I'm feeling energetic, like I worked a split shift today, usually I'm really tired, and I'm just like, you know what, instead of, turning on the TV and whatnot, I'll sit there before I film. I wanted to film. I was like, let me just go clean, even if I just clean the door of the fridge, I'll just clean the door of the fridge. So I sat there and I cleaned the lining. I sat there and took everything out of the door, wiped everything down, and I just kept going, And it makes me feel a certain way because it's something that I was like, oh, we should get that done. I'll do it next weekend, And I'm just like, you know what? It's only the 17th of January. You know what I mean? It's still going to be a couple more months before, we could start, gardening and doing all the fun stuff again. You know what I mean? But it's still, like, I want to get some certain things accomplished. February is going to go fast. Blink and it's going to be the end of the month. So, it's just like, take your time, be kind to yourself. You're going through things, take your time, be kind to yourself. You know what I mean? You're going to gain, something is going to come in and that's going to really speak to you, and I feel like that's going to really change things. I feel like you may have to keep it to yourself, which is fine. Or maybe something really, really phenomenal is going to come in and they're just like, you can't share it. You got to keep it to yourself. And it's like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Celebrate with, hopefully you can tell like people close to you. Like I would love to tell my kids stuff, you know what I mean? But it's just like, like they said, you may have to keep your own counsel. You may have to just keep it under your hat for a while, I don't know if you'll ever be able to share it, but, take it as it comes. Be kind to yourself. Like they said, your spiritual, intuitive arts, and I feel like this is really a potent time. I just feel like this retrograde really was a real stinky one from December until January. I know it ended in December, but I just feel like it just kind of like dragged really over into January, especially with other things that happened. But I know with one thing, it was like, they could have fixed it, and they're just like, nope, they refused to. And I'm like, all right, but they're kind of seeing the other side of it now. And I'm just like, ooh, no thank you, So, I hope you guys enjoyed this timeless reading. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next one.